because it's something that everybody can relate to, both agents, advisors, and also suppliers, cruisers, everybody. So this is super, super exciting. So we might just get to it. Those of you who don't know me, I think I know most people here, but if you don't, my name's Bron White. I've been in the industry all my life pretty much, and I have grey hair. It's quite some time. And essentially, I have spent the last 20 years researching travellers. I am a travel researcher, and previous to that, I was at Qantas in the marketing department, market research, sales. I was a sales rep at Qantas. I was also in retail, up corporate. I've pretty well done almost every job in travel, I say, in my 35 years. But yeah, ultimately, I love the industry, and the last 20 years or so, I have spent researching travellers and why they travel, what they want from travel brands, how they choose their travel brands, and it's crazy out there. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that today, but also it's changing. It's changed. The landscape's changed for a long time in terms of the traveller. We've had a lot going on in our industry, there's no doubt about it, but we need to adapt a little bit faster. And I'm going to talk about that today from a supplier perspective, because we're all dealing with this same issue. So it'll help if I just go straight to it. Now, I am running solo today, but feel free to ask questions along the way in the comments. I will get to them at some point. So, yeah, just put them in the comments, or if it's to do with, I don't mind you muting yourself and interrupting, because there's only a few of us here, so just yell out. But I'm not watching the comments at the same time. So just to let you know, I'm not ignoring you. I will come to it. But yeah, I'm happy to be interrupted. So let's go to it. Today is an interesting time. It's come to me. I've been doing a lot of thinking. And some of you also know that as a researcher, I have been playing a lot with AI and creating my own research-backed AI products in recent times, which continues to blow me away every single day in terms of what's possible. In doing that, I've been working a lot with agents and advisors, and blown away by the quality of advisors and the passion that they have for their travellers and customer journeys, and how in tune they are with their travellers as well. So I'm going to talk about that, and how also a lot of research is pointing towards the resurgence of travel advisors as well. We saw a little bit of drop off just after COVID, or a little while after COVID, but travel advisors are being respected for their service from a generation that's used to paying good and well for services. So we're going to look through the lens of advisors, and I know a lot of you here have trade, sales and marketing teams to deal with agents and host agencies and whatnot. Just in talking to advisors every week, they are just overwhelmed with being presented with all sorts of deals from all sorts of cruise lines, tour companies, hotels, DMCs, marketing representation companies, everybody. So I've done an analysis on ChatGPT. Has a model that's $200 a month, and it's a deep research model. So I've been able to do some research into a day or a week in the life of a travel agent, and it's pretty hectic. So I'm going to take you through that and come up with some better ways, or I'll show you how I've come up with some better ways by cross-tabbing that with other industries, and see how other industries really amplify and work with their trade relationships. And hopefully I've come up with something terribly brilliant that you'll love as much as I do and want to give it a go. So today we're looking at why the current situation is broken, and how we can look at empowering advisors to become the storytellers and the marketers that travellers can trust. That is happening already, but as suppliers, your job moving forward, the evidence suggests, is partnering more closely and perhaps segmenting and choosing who you deal with more closely as well. And what we're going to look at is how to embed your brand, supply brand, directly inside the travel agents' sales funnels and unlocking bookings that legacy models in sales, trade sales, just can't touch. And I've had a good look at how other industries have done that and created the 7-day AI travel marketing challenge that creates an amazing scalable brand surge, if you like, where the travellers are going to have access to the information. Because what's happening now is, regardless of whether or not a traveller uses a travel agent or not, high spending travellers are putting in hundreds of hours of research online. So they'll do that, book direct, or they'll go to a travel agent. So it doesn't matter what they're doing, they're still putting in that hundreds of hours online. So that is the premise that we're dealing with and where I come from at this point in time. So let's go. So the problem, travel suppliers, so that includes tour operators, cruise lines, wholesalers, destination marketers, hotels pour millions into BDMs, sales, webinars, famils, influencer trips, portals, and email blasts. And right now we've gotten to a point where much of it really goes unheard and not looked at. And that's because travel advisors, travel agents, I'm using that term interchangeably because I'm an old travel agent, they're just overwhelmed. And what is happening is that travellers have changed and their demand on their travel agent has changed as well, onto more complex customer journeys that require a higher level of servicing from a travel advisor. And in working with some of my travel advisors at the moment, it's almost like they're becoming a travel coach. So we're looking at potentially rebranding ourselves as agents and advisors into being a travel coach, because travel is all about transformation and learning and really becoming a better person at the end of it all. And travellers want to spend a long time exploring how they can do that through travel. And our travel agents are so committed to making this happen. It's amazing. So what our modelling and research suggests is that, and this is pretty conservative, over 200, probably more like 300 supplier emails per week flood each agent. They're getting constant communication, webinars, calls, portal pings from their host agencies, social updates, and they're just completely under-supported by this administrative load that, we don't particularly want to put onto our valued agents, but it's just happening because it's something that we've always done. And I had a chat with Narelle beforehand, and I mentioned before emails, it was the fax. So if you were sitting in a travel agency, the fax would be going all day. And at the end of the day, it was actually a lot easier just to have a look and sift through or divide the faxes amongst consultants to have a look and see what was coming through. It was fairly quick to decipher what was going on, but email is just, we're getting messaged and pinged an email, and it's really doing our heads in. So we're pretty much under-supported. So 300 supplier emails, 3 to 5 BDM calls, sales calls a week, and then you get your webinar invites, host agencies, supplier event nights, portal logins, booking system pings. And what is increasingly happening too is that I'm seeing agents running their own hosted tours and managing their VIP clients, because travellers are increasingly demanding a very high level of servicing and bespoke experiences created just for them. So on top of all this, they're generating quotes, research, proposals, follow-ups, and then they've got to make their bookings on top of that. So no wonder we're all a bit frazzled in the travel industry right now. And it goes two ways. Suppliers are desperate as well. How do I get my message across? is there another way? Is there something that we can do? And most marketing and sales managers I speak to don't want it to be like this. We all recognise in our ecosystem that something is broken and something's got to change, because we're all trying to get the message across. Travel agents are trying to get the best for their clients. They're segmenting their clients. So we just need a little bit, I guess, more push and pull from both sides. So here's the real picture. They're getting information overload, burnout. They feel really bad when they're inviting or ignoring invitations. They just don't have time. So I quite often hear agents say to me that, and also suppliers, we might get the head honcho from Europe here who wants to present to the industry. Getting people to go to those things is harder and harder. And then you're sending agents on famils and expecting content like an influencer creates. But the influencer doesn't have to go back to the office and do all the bookings and all the other stuff that I spoke about in that last slide. So the influencer is creating content on the way. They earn money differently through their affiliate links and perhaps direct bookings from their website groups. They're working completely differently, but we're expecting them to create. Now, here's the thing. Travel agents are not marketers. So one day it was pushed upon us that we have to now create all of this content, which is true. It's just what we have to do because that's what our traveller wants. But again, it's the time. As a travel advisor, we're really skilled at putting together those beautiful itineraries, looking for places that are ungoogleable, I call them, looking for destinations that, you know, don't have squillions of people until Instagram gets there. But essentially what's happening now is spray and pray marketing. It's a terrible term, but it's just what's happening. So we're sending the same mass message to everybody, regardless of niche or timing or the real traveller need, looking at who that agent is servicing at the end of the day. So let's take a quick look again at the high value traveller. Travel advisors are serving today's high value traveller who, as I mentioned previously, are in a perpetual state of research before they even go to their travel advisor. They might be booking 2, 3, 4 trips a year overseas. Some of them are planned, some of them happen last minute. Some of them are domestic, some of them are international. There's no, back in the old days, we used to, as researchers, want to find out how far in advance that they book their international trip or their domestic trip. There's no rules to that. So the true travellers are just always on, always researching, always looking in various different places. And the big change is that they're increasingly craving personalised, insider and local experiences. They want curated experiences. This is all time intensive and high servicing. So even if they're doing any sort of touring or cruising, they want detailed information on the ship, on the tour. Where am I going to stay? What am I going to eat? What am I going to see? And what we see in a lot of the supplier content, it's really basic. It's very functional. It's not emotional. Travellers now, they just want to know and feel and smell what it's like before they even get on board. They want so much information, and that's just the way it is. And increasingly, because a lot of the information online is fairly functional and not highly differentiated, especially as we see the proliferation of AI-generated content, it says the same thing but differently. So it all sounds the same but says it in a different way, which is a major risk to brands. I think that is why, and this is an educated guess, that they are looking to their travel advisors for differentiation because they're trusting human voices and a human point of view, not corporate promos that are generated by ChatGPT, whether you're doing it in-house or getting your agency to do it. And the thing that I see every single day in my research, so I interview travellers. It's not a survey, so I get to go really deep into any comment they make to me, is they expect their agent to know more, to offer more, to access more than they can find on Google themselves. So a travel advisor is the holder of all travel secrets, and they actually are. They're amazing and they're passionate. And I know you agree with me. Just very quickly, I'm not going to go through this, it's another day. This is the traveller customer journey. I created this with Carolyn Childs, probably getting on to 12 years ago now, possibly 15, for Google. And I have validated it over and over the years. The traveller customer journey is really complicated. And if you look at number 3, the planning and research stage, this is where much of it sits. So starting with Google, starting with talking to friends, they might spend hundreds of hours each year in this stage. So as a supplier, you're pushing harder, expecting your agents to sell your product, but the agents just tune out because they just got too much on. The clients, so the travellers, expect their agent to know more, do more, and access more than they can. And they expect their agent's marketing to reflect that insider edge. So they're looking to their agent and their advisor, their travel coach, for more and more information to help them disseminate, or not, what's the word, find out what matters and what doesn't matter, what's real, what's not real. So much of the B2B trade marketing fails because it's very generic. It's unsegmented, it's tactical, it's lead sales. Advisors will just delete it, filter, or ignore it. We just had that chat, Narelle. There's the famils that they go on, they're designed for influencers, not agents. So what I quite often hear is, as well, especially on cruises or touring, that agents are expected to share a room, whereas influencers get their own room. Now, what that means is that an influencer can go back to their room and create content, which is what they do. Whereas if you're sharing a room with somebody, they can't do that. So perhaps looking at, while they're on the famil, getting them to create the content on the go and on the famil, and having you assist them do that. That is something that we can look at doing, and something that I've designed within this system. And all of this is really easy to do in potentially an hour a day, which is not too much to ask of your agents to generate content and stories. And the most important thing is their point of view, which is what their customers are looking for. So right now, post famil, there's no structured follow-up or supported follow-up. Advisors get back to the desk and they just get back in it again. It's like on the phone, email, book. It's just really hard for them to get the time to do that when they're not marketed. So we need to give them the tools to enable them to do that. And hopefully I've got something here that I can help you with, thanks to AI. So what I've looked at and what I'm proposing is that a better way for suppliers and advisors to work together. So instead of mass emails, generic ads, looking at a clear branded system that literally helps travel advisors create 90 days of lasting marketing content, blogs, social media posts, emails, videos, all sorts of stuff. And it puts your brand message directly into the advisor's marketing to their clients with their own points of view, their own stories. So what we want to get is almost like a sensory explosion, if you like. It works really well, and I'm doing it with my group of agents at the moment, where we talk about emotional content creation, which essentially is a fancy name for storytelling. But what does it smell like when you're there? What does it feel like? What are you noticing? How is it different? We need that sort of stuff to be going in to their personal blogs and their personal points of view so that their travellers can read that stuff. It's almost like travel agents have become like a real estate agent. You've got your Ray White, but you've got the person. So they'll just follow that person no matter where that agent goes because they've built that relationship and they know what you like. So what we can do here is put your brand message directly into the messaging, if you like, into the stories. And it just changes the relationship from one-way promotion to a team-created content environment that travellers really notice, trust and respond to, and ultimately you get that booking. Yeah, so we're embedding the brand into real bookings. So what I'm going to do now is just, so we don't have any chats. No, we don't. Oh, there you go. I hope that's a good sign. Sorry, I was just checking there. Now, it isn't just me promoting crazy ideas. I've gone and had a look and seen how they're doing it in other industries because quite often it is working and it's really strange. I was about to tell Narelle this, that the idea came to me when I was buying bras in Myers for my 3 teenage daughters. And I noticed that all the brands had their little sort of shop inside a shop. So in the department store, they have a host brand with their little mini stores within their space selling their brand. They'll sell other brands if the requirement is there, but they're there to represent their brand and sell that brand. And they know everything about that brand. The host, if you like, the agent provides the customer traffic, Maya, while brands control the presentation and the promotions. It's genius and it's been done before. So I thought, why can't we bring that into our own ecosystem where it is theoretically meant to happen as hosts, negotiate relationships, but I think we need to get more granular and more segmented, more personal, which is exactly what the traveller wants. So the advisor networks function as your store, embedding a brand in their marketing streams rather than just it all going one way. And I'm going to show you exactly how we've done that with Phil. Look, there's lots of different ways that this has happened. Why am I not? Here we go. We see it with white labelling. You may have heard the term white labelling, and that happens with software. Now, if you're a company that is very interested, I can actually white label this tool for your brand so that we can just churn out really beautiful, customizable content with your ideal agent, tone of voice, points of view, what they've noticed. Affiliate influencer marketing as well, which I'm also teaching my clients about. Obviously, co-op marketing, it's a thing that we've done for a very long time in travel, but we want more and more localised execution. And franchising and dealerships. So even if you look at car yards, they supply, it's one brand, I know, but they still supply everything for the retailer. So really hold their hand and have true partnerships, if you like. It's not just another trade sales or marketing idea from absolutely nowhere. It's proven across different industries, and we can adapt this for our market, our travel industry. And I really firmly believe that the suppliers who move first with this will totally set the standard. And the reason we're able to talk about this now is because of AI. I can tell you this is something that I used to do with brands through my research. It'd take me 3 months. It was a manual process. It's something that we can do in a week now. So previous to AI, this probably would have been really impossible to do because we're all just crazy busy. But AI has enabled us to do this at scale and faster. and I'm able to put the traveller research sit behind it so it doesn't sound like all the other ChatGPT. It's just amazing. So here's what I've come up with. It's a 7-day AI travel marketing challenge. So it's almost like a sprint, and it's something that we're going to do on the 16th of June. We're going to do our first sprint. So in 1 week, we are going to create 90 days, a quarter worth of content. 12 blog posts per agent, 12 email campaigns, 36 social posts equals 90 days of content. So that is, as a brand, you can work with an agent if they've just recently been on a famil, or if they sell a lot of your product. We can create content with them so that it is on their blogs, on their emails, on their socials. It's branded, it's evergreen, which means it doesn't date. It sits on that agent's ecosystem forever, and it features your product with the agent's point of view and their own experiences. So if they want to talk about accessible, which is a growing, I shouldn't say trend, but because of the older travellers coming through now, it's something more important. So it's not necessarily if you're in a wheelchair, but it's just basically getting around. Putting all those little details that they come to a travel agent for, helping them and assisting them to put that into their own content, so that when the traveller is putting in their hundreds of hours, they'll see that my travel agent is also talking about this stuff. And when they get the email, it's not just a generic email, it's actually got really useful information. And I'm going to show you how we've done that with Phil in a minute. The benefits to you is that your brand is embedded in Google search, traveller email boxes, social feeds, travel agents' blogs and articles. It can be aligned with any promotion that you're going, any new product launches, any new experiences. Your advisors will feel supported. They'll get to know you better, which is what you want, because we all know that if a travel advisor experiences your product, if they go on a famil, they are far more likely to sell it, even though they may not be pushing out the content. I know myself as an advisor, as an agent, you are far more likely to recommend a product if you've done it, if you've been on it. But you can also help them in creating that content with their point of view. It's scalable and we can track it. We can track the success of it through what I do, which again, AI allows us to do this. So it's not just any AI tool. It's backed by $400,000 in my proprietary traveller research. I do qualitative research, which means I interview travellers, I find out the real meaning, why they travel. I can go deep. So it's not just a percentage. And I've collected this knowledge over 20 plus years. Some of you have worked with me before. It's built for the travel industry. It's built so that we can take it with us when we go on a famil. We have tools. It's called the Travel Agent Famil Storyteller, where an agent, when they're on the famil, they can actually get asked a series of questions to just churn out that blog piece. And it's a system. It's a system that enables them to create their own content that their travellers will trust. And it's a ready-made distribution system. So I want to introduce you here to Phil. Are you on here, Phil? I think you are. I'm pretty sure you are.
Yep, I'm here.
You're here? Okay. I hope you don't mind me doing this, but I just loved all this. Phil went on a ship inspection, didn't you? The Paul Gorgan, I don't know, I always say it wrong. And what he's done is he's practicing everything that we preach in our program here. So what travellers are looking for is your point of view. I always say this. They are coming to you as a travel agent because they want to hear what you have to say They like what you have to say. They like your trip styles. They like what you curate, and they like what you bring back for them. One of the really funny / interesting things we found out when we did a survey on Phil's personal traveller database is that they do not want anything to do with wellness travel. They just want to eat and drink pretty much. And I thought that was wonderful. So what that gave us was direction for Phil to go off and find product suitable to his database. So he went along, he was invited by Deb Corbett to go on this inspection, and he's been prolific in the content that he's created just from this one-day inspection based on the tools that we've created. So he's got his own personal blog. So if you have a look on the left-hand side here, this was the first initial blog he created. And it was all about how he went on the ship and he's got his own photos. And then he linked that to another blog where he went into more detail of the solo traveller special that they had. And also he's looked at some of our segments and who it's good for. Solo travellers, there's no single supplement. Couples, cultural explorers is another segment that we've identified. So there's 2 articles on his blog. Sorry. Okay, hang on. Here we go. And what we were able to do is Phil sent out an email directing his travellers to his blog. And he's really personalised this email. And I know I'm telling everyone not to email, but it's different when it's B2C. So travellers want to hear from you. They want information if they're hardcore travellers. So he's calling out the solo traveller. Subject is really super important. And it's like he's written to me. What I love is that he's mentioned here his strong relationship with the Queensland Business Development Manager for Paul Gorgon Cruises, which is really important when it comes to the traveller. So they want to know that they have strong relationships with the suppliers, and he can put his point of view in. So this is just, he's written more in this email, but he's written that, you know, who it's for. So I would read that and go, oh yeah, that sounds great. That sounds, and I love that he said I know how easy it is for emails to slip through, but I would hate for you to miss this special. So he's deciding on what he sends and when he sends. And then, and then he goes on. So he has also created social media posts, and he's also rewritten the post to go on a travel agent finder blog piece. So this one day he's created content with all of his point of view, advocating for the brand, and he will get bookings from this. So this is only just a small part of what we can do really quickly. It's not hard. It's hard to begin with because you're learning something new. But AI means that it's done at scale, it's done with your tone of voice, it's done with my research, so it doesn't sound like all the other stuff that's out there. If you did this at scale as a supplier and sponsored your agents that you work really closely with, this is what it could look like. So say if you had 10 agents that you went on a famil with, or that you've had an inspection, or you have a special relationship with, and you sponsored them to do a challenge, from that you would get 120 blog posts that stays on a travel agent's website forever. And it's not just yours. They are putting their own point of view, their own spin on it. They will send out of that 120 emails going to their clients. We do 3 social media posts for each blog. So that if with 10 agents, you have 600 pieces of content. And the more you sponsor, the more that goes out there. So that is evil laugh, total domination online. As more and more information is online and more information is really different. Having that unique point of view and working together with your agent is definitely the future, because that's what our travellers want, that personalisation, experiences and what you liked about it, because I trust you as an agent. So I had the first one running on the 16th of June, $4.97 per agent, which is, considering what you are getting, your ROI. This is pilot pricing, I might add. So it's the first iteration. So it's really terrific value. So what happens is they get access to all of my AI tools, which has my research. We have over the 7 days, we create the content for the next 90 days. It's fully guided and coached by me every day over those 7 days. It can be brand aligned. It doesn't have to be put out in those 90 days. They can schedule it to go out across the year so that they can put other things as well into their communications. It's curated content about your brand. It's not generic, it's curated, it's personalised. They have experienced it. So it's really where it's not just in travel, it's all through retail, it's all verticals, where the consumer is looking for more and more personalised service, just like Maya. So I've got some different pricing here. If you're interested, obviously it goes down. The more agents, the cheaper it goes. And if you want to go crazy, I can actually also create your own branded version, which is super, super exciting. So I could actually put your tone of voice, all your product information, or your branding information in there for you, so that it's done, it's yours, and we can run these challenges whenever you need. So that's, in a nutshell, it's a lot of information, isn't it? I don't know, what does everybody think? Do you agree, disagree, think it's out there crazy?
Hi, Bron, Kai here. I just wanted to say thank you. That was really cool, and some really good points, which I'll certainly pass on to Andy, who's asked me to jump on this call for us and the marketing team. And to be honest, like, I watch social media a lot, and I agree so many points that you've mentioned about content and for the agents that are on here. I sympathize. The content that sometimes we as wholesalers do provide aren't always grabbing. So yeah, I think it's really cool. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, that means a lot. Yeah, because when you come up with these things and these ideas that might seem a bit far-fetched and it's different from what we've always done, it's a big leap of faith for someone like me. So thank you, Kai. I really appreciate that. Could we hear from agent you highlighted? Lynn, that would be Phil. Phil.
Yes, hello. What would you like to hear?
Just hear from you.
Oh, okay. Look, I've been working with Bronwyn now for 6 months, 4 months, something like that. And the tools that she's developed for us as agents is simply amazing. And every day, I'm using it every day. So I'm using the travel marketing machine every day to not only build content, but to help me, can't think of the word, help me think about how to present things to my travelers, how to, design a post, all of that sort of stuff. It's just amazing help that I get every day. And I think one of the things that when Bronwyn talked to us a little bit about this last week, the 200 emails a week that come in from suppliers, it's a lot of stuff that you think, I really want to have a look at that, but I've got this other thing on the go. And last week I had a family of 10 booking that I had to focus on, and it took my entire week. It's like I didn't have time to do anything else. But there's those emails that are coming in all the time that you really want to get to, but just don't have the space to do it. My thing as a travel agent is if this tool can help bring that information to me in a way that I can very quickly design posts, I can very quickly put things on my website, then all the better. I think it requires work between all parties, and I think that's where Bron can bridge that sort of gap, because yeah, I think the way it's delivered at the moment, we're just not getting to have a look at it as well as we should. Some of the stuff that's in it is the same, so it doesn't matter which supplier it is, it reads the same. So to be able to work more directly somehow with the suppliers or the wholesalers in delivering what the message is that we want to deliver to our clients is where we need to go.
Yeah.
That's where that Le Paul Gauguin experience was just amazing, to be invited, because I'm based in Cairns. I was invited to go to Darwin to actually get on board that ship. We met with the captain, we did all these amazing things. And because I had the tools, Bronwyn's tools behind it, I was able to then go in there and explain everything that I saw. And this magic AI thing came back and wrote this amazing article that was like almost the first draft was exactly, in my words, exactly what I wanted to say, had everything there. It was just, it sounds like it's really easy, but that's how it can be if you train it. So like I've been training it for the last 6 months in my voice. So yeah, it's an amazing tool, and I don't know what else to say.
That's great. That's great, Phil. And I think Narelle, who is working with us too, thanks, Narelle. Yeah, she's in regional New South Wales. In the chat mentioned she's got clients finding her online from her beautiful stories that she's creating with her favourite brands, with her point of views, why she likes a brand and why she recommends it. Yeah, it's amazing. Oh, I'm so glad. And Lynn asked reaction from client emails. I know we've got Linda from Outback Astronomy, so you don't have to be a travel agent. She sent an email out the other day describing the Outback skies, and she received immediate, thanks, Robin. Yeah, catch up later. But yeah, she received immediate email response. He responds to an email sent out saying how beautiful her article was, because that's how we design it. That's how I've created these tools, so that it's not boring content. I train it so that it's giving you, describing how do you feel? How does it make you feel when you look at the sky in the outback? Not that if you come here, you will look at the outback sky, which is generally how we write. But when you write about how you feel, I know Linda, she has the most amazing experience. You sit back on these little couches with a glass of beautiful red, cheese and nibbles in these lounges with blankets. So yeah, describing that rather than come and look at the outback stars is what people really love. So that's what we're training it to do. That's what we do. Yeah, it's terrific. So with this on the 16th departure, you can either do it if you're an agent and you're here, or an operator. So Tamara, you're here. Anyone who has a hotel or you're an agent, you can do it yourself. It's an amazing deal, $497. And then if you're a wholesaler or a supplier or a tour company, cruise, whatever, you could look at sponsoring some agents. We could do your own group, so you don't have to go with everybody else. You could do your own group with your own brand. That's an option, or you can come and do it. But let me tell you too, it's so good to do as a group, to co-create. And for you as a brand, a beautiful travel brand, to co-create with your agents is something that you can do. So you're not only co-creating evergreen content that will stay there forever, you're actually giving your agents and yourselves new skills in customer journeys, traveler journeys. We all know how to read research now. We all know how to create travel experiences, itineraries based on research. I have absolute AI mastery people in my group, all my agents, they're just grown so well that, yeah, we're seriously doing great things. And I've got a few proof points here. So yeah, any other questions, comments? No? Do you like it? Would you be willing to try it? Yep.
Love the program. It's a great initiative.
Yeah.
Very excited to be part of it.
Yeah, thanks, Narelle.
Yeah.
Thanks. Really appreciate it. All right, guys, on that note, I'll love you all and leave you. And any questions, contact me if you're interested